Welcome to the Festival of Storytellers.
I can't tell you how excited I am to be on right now. It's been a couple of weeks of excitement, getting prepared, and I've done a lot of things in my life, but this has got to be close to the top.
Thank you, and Reader's Magnet, and thank you, John, for putting this forth and taking the chance on us authors in presenting this out to the world.
I've enjoyed this immensely, Joanne.
Ellie, so have I. Thank you for who you are, and thank you, Reader's Magnet. You all are beautiful, and you've worked so very hard, and we are blessed.
We are.
I thank everybody that's involved with this process, because we know writers need readers and writers need publishers. We thank Reader's Magnet and everybody that's involved. I love Reader's Magnet. They say, we share your stories with the world.
Hello, greetings. This is Quinton Crawford. I'm the author of the book Knowledge for Tomorrow. I will have the time with the limited 30 minutes time I have to be with you right now to go through the issues of world history, nature, a little bit on health, religion, and into a little bit on the organized crime. But I probably won't be able to get into that much into the inspiration for the youth area of my book. And I tried to cover as much as possible and figure far in advance what I can cover. But since it took me about 2 years to complete this book. Research, back research, and so forth to develop this book, which is available in my website, which you should see on the banner, the running banner right now, oneglobalbook.com. And I may have a separate website for volume 2 of this book. Which I am currently writing. First, a little bit about the book. I have within a pre-page information. This book is a proposal for revolutionary progression of the truth, or many truths that we have. It is a unique, encompassing synthesis unifying ethics, world history, ecology, humanities, common sense education, and liberty. It addresses the urgent problems facing humanity and the rest of our planet, because we're not the only life form on this world. Disrespect for nature is the first chapter. I go on to negative culture domination, scientific corruption, organized crime, miseducation, racial pathology, and information selectively hidden from the general public. There are issues and items of strong interest that many people may see as under the term conspiracy. Had to do some research on, figure on what is a conspiracy and what is not. Thank you, Elena, for your comments stating it's a great cover. It took me a little while. I designed it myself. Each of the covers of each of the books that I've written, I have been chiefly responsible, of course, to design the covers. To finish this portion of the book, furthermore, it shows some solutions to these problems and leads you toward the development of other ideas. I did not want to say that I know everything, and I don't. I'm humble like that. I don't have an ego, super ego, to say that this is the solution, the only solution. There's many more than one mind on this planet, and I'm not the only one involved in trying to solve the problems we have, or we've, as humans, have created for ourselves as well. All right. Let me go on to my poem in my book. And an introductory poem is called My Nature. It is on pre-page, let's see here, 10, 11, 21. Study calls me to learn of my mothers and fathers in Africa, brothers and sisters of Asia, nieces and nephews of Europe and the Americas, uncles and aunts among the natives of the Americas, and purity of spirit through all faiths. The world is my extended family. This is something that I think maybe everyone should be thinking. I honor all study that inspires the call for peace, truth, justice, and responsibility. Faith calls me to act in directions to correct the wrongs in life. Faith inspires me to enhance the day and night. Faith inspires me to direct prayers to improving myself. Faith inspires me to direct balance to remove obstacles from my path. Faith inspires me to create positive environments in the world around me. Faith inspires me to motivate honorable actions among the youth I am honored to reach. Faith helps me balance my place in this universe to make way for the new. I hope that is something that you'll enjoy. Let's see. Comment from Fairgoer 2013. Topics about nature will never be irrelevant. Yes, that's true. We are a part of nature as well. The sheer fact that you are alive and you die just makes that the obvious fact. Everything alive also dies. There are things that everything is meant to do during its lifetime, and maybe even during its death time. Try to go into that as far as I can a little later, near the end of my presentation today, or the next one I do on this book. I have a few more sentences. Let's see, a few more paragraphs actually in my poem, but I will move on from there, considering time that I have. As this is my first book that I written and published several years ago, back in 2005, I decided to give some praise, thanks to all the individuals and organizations that I at least was a part of, at least back then. And I have a long list of friends, including mention of my dog, Skipper, that all have been motivations to me, or for me, to do this book and to be. My first mention is an anthropologist, a primary research methodologist, named, is also an author, named Professor Menu Ampim. One of the top reasons why I'm writing is because I kind of want to be like him. He's got several books out, professor, so on. But I'll leave that alone. I'll let you do your own studies. There are many organizations which I give thanks to. One of them is the Solano Napa Library System, a public library system from the area that I live. I'm in Solano County. It's also partnered with the Napa County system. I'm not sure many people may be more familiar with the word Napa than Solano. Napa has wineries. And it's a big tourist spot here in California. There are many music artists that I give thanks to. When many of us artists, many of us authors do our writing, listen to music at the same time. Well, many of us do. Not everybody, but I do. And I noticed messages within the music, statements, and questions. Let's see, I have a question here from Fairgoer1451. Did you do a lot of research to write this book? The answer is definitely yes. It took me 2 years to get this book done. I started way back, let's say this way, when I was 40 years old. Well, I'll say 39. I was thinking of what to do with all the essays that I had when I was doing my bachelor's degree program. I didn't want them to just sit around in my computer or in pen drive, no, thumb drive, pen drive, whichever how you want to call it, to collect dust. Just sit there, do nothing. Because when I did the essays, and this book is really mostly a compilation of many essays, I decided to put together into one book. Like when I was 40. So, as I said, it took about 2 years to get this done. I decided that I didn't want this to go to waste, and I wanted to do something for my birthday. So, I didn't seem to have a party or whatever planned to do anything for that birthday or any others, because I was trying to forget my birthdays around then and forget that I was aging. It worked, and for a while, a few years, I necessarily kind of avoided being around or whatever for my birthday. Didn't want to celebrate it. I just want to just move on. I'm sure many people out there maybe listening understand that. I have a question here from Mira. What was the most humbling part of your journey while writing this book? Humbling part of my journey was just I had to second guess a few things as I was going through research, and just to make sure things are right. And I got a couple things wrong in the process, but I found, and I was told, as the help, I got some friends to help me do some of the research, that I had some information incorrect. I had to go back and replace some information before it went public, because I'm not the type of person to just let things go. I had to go back into the research and fix some things. But also I was saying about the essays. When I was writing the essays for my bachelor's program, which I molded into this book, I remember one big inspiration for this was I had to do presentations for each of the essays that I had turned in. And I recall getting a standing ovation a few times, especially for the essay, my first essay that I moved into the front, first chapter of this book, which is titled Disrespect for Nature. I'll read a few sentences of that in a few moments, but I recall in the class, the entire class for like about 3 minutes. I'm kind of trying to count down, looking at my watch and the clock on the wall. How long is it going to take these people to stop applauding me? In 3 minutes. I was humbled, for sure. If you can see me blush, which I doubt, I would have been turning bright red. But I had a big smile on my face, I recall, and I was kind of chuckling a little bit, why all these people are so appreciative of what I said. But I guess I was at the right place at the right time for what I was talking about. The book begins in chapter 1, this essay, as saying the environment may not be understood without at least beginning to understand oneself. Then observation of your relationships with nature should should include considering the cultural, political, and economic processes through which the environment becomes subject in human power relations. Okay, so I went into several different areas of research during the time I wrote this essay. I was exploring different religions, just how and why people believed what they believed. Was lucky enough at the time to be able to be exposed to not just there's of course Christian churches around, and Catholics. Okay, I have a question here from Elena. Elena, what got you so interested on this topic? Well, I love nature. I love our planet, Earth. I really dislike, as the title of this essay is, and this chapter, disrespect for nature. I really don't like that. I don't see any reason to disrespect nature. We are part of it as humans. Not attempt to separate ourselves and consider ourselves superior to it. Speciesism as well as racism are I'd say they're both wrong. We depend on each other, not just as people, but life. Not just as food or cleanliness of water and so forth, and air, but we depend on each other in multiple ways. That's probably as plain as I can get for the answer for your question, Elena. Thank you. I had to do quite a bit of research, going back and forth to the library. Oops, I'm just going to have a comment from Fairgoer1451. I completely agree with you. We are part of nature, and we are nothing without it. Yes, true. We obviously cannot exist without the rest of existence. If you, at some point, just step outside, take a deep breath, look around at the life around you. Hopefully, you live in a place where it's not just concrete and human-made creations. But then again, even with that, that's also elements of nature, just molded, manipulated. Even your car or whatever vehicle you drive or ride in, elements that created that particular vehicle are also part of nature. A message from Mira. Hopefully we will realize what we are doing now while it's not too late. Not yet too late. Yes, hopefully. People like myself and others some are trying to do something. I'm a member of the Sierra Club, which is one of the primary founding environmental organizations of really of the world. It started here in California. It is now international. So there are chapters of the Sierra Club in, I believe it's in the UK, Canada, trying to get into Mexico, of course, throughout the United States, Japan, or at least someone trying to start something up in Japan, and many other locations. I'm also a officer of a essentially committee side organization created by members of the Sierra Club here, called the Climate Protectors. And within my book, The Global Situation, which I'm sure I'll show you an image of in a moment, and it should be on the screen somewhere on the booth on your side, from what you're seeing. I don't see it from mine. An image of that book should be there. I have a copy right here. Let me pick it up. Something sticky on the bottom. There we go. This is my third book that I've created, The Global Situation. And I'm sure you see that the image, the front cover is a little on the dramatic side, but it's accurate in a sense of what is happening right now. This book, The Global Situation, partially founded from my creation of the book Knowledge for Tomorrow. I also have a children's book, which is also based partially from Knowledge for Tomorrow. This one deals mostly with cultures, world cultures. Muchi the Suchi Visits the Peace People. This is for children. And a comment from one fairgoer. I don't see the name of the fairgoer. Says the cover is very accurate. Yes, I definitely agree. It took me a while as I did the research for that book. That one took a little less time than Knowledge for Tomorrow, because Knowledge for Tomorrow was my first book. It's not just the essays, but bonding everything together, which is what took the most time. I had to figure bridging information, which bonded one chapter to the other, and make it all work. And to use quite a bit of my creativity for this, and use of some friends' knowledge, which I give praise and mention to them in the book. I want to leave anybody out. Credibility is important. So each of my books, they're all related towards being able to be accepted by UNESCO. Sorry, my mouth is dry. Some water. There's quite a few people and organizations which I became involved with. I was mentioning earlier about religions, and I switched my topic off a little bit. Just a moment. It's a little better. Now, the religion that I was lucky, or maybe in faith, in planning or so, design, during the time, I was lucky enough to come across not just Christianity, different forms of Christianity, because there's multiple kinds of churches, dealing with different kinds of people. So I learned, one, that Christianity is not all the same in all different places, because there's Lutheran, there's Catholics, there's so on and so on. There's Baptists, which I was most experienced with, and many others. Evangelists, so forth. So I also was lucky enough to find Islam here in town. During the time when I was beginning to do the research for this book, I found some Muslim friends, and decided around then that just to study any of the faith systems is not really enough to engage in each thing and each faith system I'm studying. So I started doing prayers for each. Discovered a little bit more in the practice of the prayers and Islam, to learn more about Islam, and not just have any negative prejudices against that system, against that faith, those people. So, but a lot of respect has developed for me, and since I was an Air Force child, my dad was in the Air Force. Through my childhood, I had friends from different places. Some from Vietnamese, Filipino, of course, white, background European, British, French, Italian, and so on. I mean, not everyone in the world, but I learned of quite a few. Not sure how much in terms of language I learned during the time, but I experienced friends in Spain, a few other countries. I guess I learned some of their languages when I was younger, because something about me is, when I listen to people from other countries, other lands, I tend to be able to translate what they're saying in my head, and just be able to respond. Maybe not exactly in kind with their language, but translate what they're saying. Well, that's just, I guess, maybe an inborn ability. I don't know. I have there's things about me that I've learned. I guess it's because of some of my upbringing and ancestry. I'm firmly against sexism and, of course, racism. I've experienced that in my lifetime. And notions of religious supremacy. Before I go into a few other issues, besides Islam and Christianity, also a bit of Buddhism as well, and Hinduism. So got both, each of those faith systems, at least during the time I was researching, right here in town. I was walking all over my town, Fairfield, California, and we had at least during that time, during the time frame, I met people of each of those faith systems, observed prayer or practiced some prayer or chanting and so forth, for each of those systems to not just study but to practice, into the systems to have further understanding of who they are and what they do and what they believe. That was a great eye-opening thing for me. And I'm sure that could be for you as well. If you don't know or have some kind of a prejudice against or for or about some other faith system, it is usually best to learn something of them by being involved. I have a question here. Statement. We have 3 minutes. Okay, so I'll leave off from here. There are a lot of other issues that I go through in this book. World Holocaust. There's more than one Holocaust, not just World War II. Thank you for Fairgoer 2013. The books are very informative and inspiring. Yes, that was the goal. Issues on health issues, aspartame and fluoride and MSG. Cover the toxic effects of each of those things that were created. Effects of microwaves. The cell phone emits and uses microwaves for transmission of information. So be careful on how close you have into your head so many times. The long-term effects of that are not known completely yet, but I can make a few assumptions of what is going on with us. Principles of prayer. I made a new declaration of children's rights, and a few things else that are very beneficial, I assume, to the rest of us. Thank you, and hope you enjoy my other book promo video. Good day.
Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Ashe Harambe. This is Quentin Crawford, author of the book Knowledge for Tomorrow, giving you a short mention before I move on. Please, any of you out there that have the access and ability to do this, please take special note to anyone reading this book, or may be able to read this book, Knowledge for Tomorrow, or a connection to any movie production. It is time that historically correct movies documenting the true lives of people like King Taharka, Queen Nzinga, Nat Turner, the true Hannibal, Marcus Garvey, Emilio Zapata, the ancient Hawaii, Che Guevara, and the conquest of Mexico, the Nubians, and so on, be made today and now. The time is right. Information is readily available. The audience is here. And the worth to humanity is enormous. Movie sales for things like Alexander the So-Called Great, Indiana Jones, and other movies like that glamorize thieves are no longer truly relevant for the progress of humanity. They're only relevant for the pride of the people of Thebes. It's time to create movies for reality and for the true heroes of humanity. Amanla.